When you read ancient texts detailing the creation of humans, you usually find poetic metaphor. Whether it's from Greece, India, or the Middle East, the descriptions rely on broad concepts like clay, dust, or a general spiritual essence. Evaluating these claims biologically is nearly impossible. You end up trying to interpret mythology, looking for scientific data in texts that were never meant to be medical textbooks. But there is a historical anomaly. Surah 23 of the Quran, revealed in 610 AD, bypasses general metaphor entirely. Instead, it outlines a highly specific six-stage biological sequence. The text claims a distinct progression, starting from a drop of fluid, developing into a clinging substance, then a chewed lump, then bones, then flesh covering those bones, and finally becoming a complete human. This forces a distinct question. Are these stages lucky, generalized guesses that happen to align with 7th century assumptions? Or do they represent a scientifically actionable biological timeline? We can test this by plotting these claims on this quadrant chart. We are measuring the era of origin on the bottom against actual biological accuracy on the side. Generic metaphors sit in the bottom left. Modern science sits in the top right. To see if the Quran actually stands as a proposed anomaly in the top left, we need hard data. To verify this, we have to strip away theological bias entirely. We are going to subject the text's classical Arabic terminology to the strict scrutiny of modern microscopic anatomy. Let's start with stage 1, fertilization. The Quran uses the Arabic term Nutfah amshaj, which translates directly to a mixed drop. Modern biology confirms that a human zygote requires the fusion of both male sperm and a female egg, two distinct cellular contributions mixing to create one life. That might sound obvious to us today, but we have to compare that to the dominant scientific consensus available in 610 AD, which was driven entirely by Greek philosophers. The leading authority on reproduction at the time was Aristotle, whose theories from 350 BC were treated as undisputed fact. Aristotle proposed specific, flawed mechanics. He theorized that the female provided only matter, specifically menstrual blood, while the male provided the active principle, or the soul and form of the child. Under Aristotle's model, the embryo was essentially shaped entirely by the father's contribution. The mother was just an incubator. Today, we know this is biologically incorrect. When we compare the Greek model directly to the Arabic concept of Nutfah amshaj, the mixed drop, the Quran clearly indicates an equal contribution of cellular material from both male and female. Here is the trade-off you face when analyzing this text. Accepting the accuracy of the Quranic description requires acknowledging that it completely bypassed and contradicted the leading scientific consensus of its own era. Moving to stages 2 and 3, the text describes the physical morphology of the embryo. It introduces the term Alaqah, occurring roughly between days 6 and 24. In classical Arabic, Alaqah carries 3 simultaneous meanings: a blood clot, a leech, and something that clings. Look at this decision tree, mapping those 3 meanings to modern embryology. Visually, the early embryo looks like a clot of blood. Behaviorally, it shares the exact shape and nutritional mechanism of a leech. Mechanically, it implants or clings to the uterine wall. All 3 linguistic definitions are physically accurate. Then we hit the 3rd stage, defined in the text as Mudghah, which occurs between weeks 4 and 6 of gestation. Mudghah translates literally to a chewed lump of flesh. Modern embryology identifies this exact time frame as the somite stage. The embryo develops small, distinct ridges along its back, creating a surface texture identical to teeth marks left on a chewed piece of material. You have to consider the scale here. Somites and early implantation events are measured in millimeters. They are entirely invisible to the naked eye. These specific visual descriptions present a chronological paradox. They describe structural mechanics that no human could actually observe until the invention of the microscope. The most critical test of the text is sequential. Stages 4 and 5 dictate the exact order of internal skeletal and muscular development. The Quran is rigid in its timeline. It explicitly states that bones, Izaam, are formed first, and only afterward are those bones clothed with flesh and muscle, Lahm. Medical science validates this specific order. During weeks 6 through 8, Ossification, the formation of the skeletal framework, strictly precedes myogenesis, which is the growth of muscle tissue around that framework. This comparison matrix plots the major historical scriptures against these precise stages of fetal development. Let's see how other ancient texts handled this sequence. When we evaluate the Torah and biblical Genesis accounts, they focus almost entirely on humans being formed from the dust of the ground. Beautiful metaphor, but scientifically generalized. The Hindu Ayurvedic texts, the Vedas, get closer. They correctly identify that both male and female seeds contribute. However, their physical sequence, listing a bubble, then a firm mass, then limbs, fails to match actual human embryology. When we fill in the final row for the Quran, we see precise matches for fertilization, implantation morphology, somite development, and the exact sequence of bone and muscle formation. It is easy to dismiss ancient texts as purely mythological, but that argument struggles against this specific matrix. The sequence of ossification preceding myogenesis is a hard biological fact, and it is unique to only one historical document. Let's review the timeline. The biological milestones described in Surah 23 required highly specialized optical equipment to verify, equipment that did not exist in the 7th century. Human sperm cells were completely unseen by science until 1677. The female ovum wasn't officially discovered until 1827. For the comparative researcher, this data point breaks standard assumptions about how scientific knowledge was transmitted through history. The timeline simply does not add up. For the analytical debater, the precise mapping of these Arabic terms to modern anatomical stages removes the common argument that the text was merely copying flawed Greek theories. Aristotle was wrong. The text was right. Here is this split-screen timeline scorecard summarizing the results. If your objective is to locate the ancient scripture that functions as a verifiable biological blueprint, the data isolates the Quran's 6-stage model as the only historical document to provide a consistent sequential match to modern embryology.
Star Hindis, your digital ecosystem perfectly across India and globally in all languages.